Okay, class, this is going to be a presentation on the Battle of the Atlantic for World War II in Europe class. So while this battle doesn't occur actually on the European continent, it is crucial to what goes on the continent, the battle for the Atlantic. I'm Jan Kush, and this is for History 3873. Some of the key concepts to look at for this that I really want to get across are that the Allies, the United States and the United Kingdom, winning the Battle of the Atlantic is crucial to the overall victory that for the overall victory in World War II. And the reason for this is by the time the Battle of the Atlantic starts, it's really the United Kingdom standing alone. They are the last place standing besides the Soviet Union. And the United Kingdom, being an island nation, is heavily dependent upon shipping, bringing in raw materials, everything from food, oil, metal, timber, rubber, you name it, everything it needed to sustain its population and fight the war. It has to ship in. So it is critical. In the beginning, the Battle of the Atlantic is critical to keeping the United Kingdom in the fight. Additionally, once Hitler invades the Soviet Union in 1941, the shipping lanes are critical, as we've talked about, shipping the trains, the trucks, the weapons, the ammunition, the shells to the USSR from the United States and the United Kingdom, again, through the Atlantic, through the shipping of the Atlantic. So without winning the Battle of the Atlantic, it is doubtful that the United Kingdom would have stayed in the fight until 41, and is very doubtful that the Soviet Union would have prevailed, or at least prevailed so quickly in the long run in the Eastern Front. The reason the Allies are able to win the Battle of the Atlantic is they have superior technology and the industrial might, especially of the United States. As Dr. Kelly has pointed out, it was a strategic miscalculation on the part of Hitler's, a mistake, to bring in the United States, because once that happens, the production ability, the technology of the United States is able to overwhelm what the Germans are able to do in the Battle of the Atlantic. All right. Just a brief background to kind of lead up to the Battle of the Atlantic. This was not the first time that Britain and Germany had gone to war. Obviously World War I, and during World War I. What happens there is the British impose a naval blockade on Germany. It leads to hunger, starvation, and this is very key in the mind of Hitler. And so there are reasons that he wants to conquer Norway, especially Denmark, especially France, especially. He doesn't want that blockade to happen again. Even during World War II, there are countries, neutral countries, that will ship goods to Germany. Not very many, but it does happen. Probably Sweden being the most well-known of those, and Argentina. So during World War I, the German surface navy is no match for the British Navy. They engage in one rather large battle. The Germans are beaten off, and so the German high command needs to find a way to bring the battle to the British public the same way the German public, which is starving of hunger, is feeling World War I. And so the Germans develop U-boats. There's a long history, possibly going back to the Civil War, of submarines. And so the Germans develop these, and they are very effective. They almost bring the British public to a point of starvation as it was in Germany. However, they're effective tactically, but not strategically. One of the huge mistakes the German military makes in World War I is the sinking of a ship called the Lusitania. It has a number of Americans on it. It was a passenger liner heading from the United States to the United Kingdom, and it is sunk. It rages, brings out anti-German feelings in the United States, and will, along with the Zimmerman Note, bring the United States into World War I on the side of the British. After World War I, the Treaty of Versailles limits the German Navy to a very small navy and bans the Germans from building these submarines going forward. The Germans work around it, very much like today the Iranians are working around the Atomic Energy Agency's limits on their nuclear program. So the Germans don't actually put any of their submarines in the water, so therefore they don't count as an ocean-going vessel. But they build them, they keep them on land, they train their people on land. They train everyone. They make ruses. They're just training electricians for electricians, and really they're training their electricians to run submarines, things of that nature. So Hitler really goes around the sanctions. Sanctions rarely ever work in world history, and dictators are going to dictate, and they're going to go around sanctions. We see that even today. So prior to the war, World War II, the Nazi Germany has built up, has begun to build up a submarine force. Yeah, some key terms, and probably should have led with this. I've used the term U-boat, so that is the German designation for a submarine. It comes from the German word Unterseeboot. Some other things we'll talk about is a sonar. And sonar, all you need to know, it's a device so you can hear a ship underwater. So if you're a British ship, you want to hear the German submarine underwater and detect them before they kill you, you use sonar. And also going to talk extensively about the air gap. This is an area in the North Atlantic where the fighter planes and the planes of the Allies could not reach. And without planes, U-boats can become much more effective. And there's other names for the air gap, depending upon which side of the war you were on. But that's the air gap. And finally, wolf pack. Just understand that's the German Nazi submarine strategy to attack the British merchants in a large pack of 5 or more U-boats. They were going to overwhelm the defenses of the British that were surrounding their merchants, and then kill off the merchants from there. All right, so I think that's pretty good for now. We'll pause this, and we will move on to the next lesson.